Alright guys, so this morning I actually want to talk about one of the things that I'm actually really enjoying in terms of research and development. So for those of you who don't know, I'm actually a few of the things that I really love and enjoy is nutrition and fitness, if you haven't noticed. A lot of what I post is nutrition and fitness, and I think the reason I do that is because that's one of the things I feel that I understand and that I'm good at, and I like to research and it's fun for me. So when you have a skill that you enjoy, and you share it, that's usually a good thing in terms of your ability to serve other people, because usually when you enjoy something, again, it allows you to be good at something that allows you to have some sort of expertise or experience that you can actually share with people, and have some people need to know the things that you know, just due to your experience. You might not be so far ahead of other people, but you're going to be ahead of somebody, right? And that somebody that is behind you, trying to find out that information through the experience that you had, they can achieve some sort of benefit from that, right? And in that sense, we all kind of help each other and help each other grow in that sense. So that's one of the things that I like to share, I guess, and I post a lot about health and fitness and stuff because it's just something I enjoy. But another thing that I enjoy is learning psychology and philosophy. Okay, so it's kind of two opposite spectrums. You get philosophy, which is based on a lot of hypotheticals and theories, and then you get psychology, where it's scientific, but it's funny when you actually look at both sides, which I often like to do. Thus, Monk and Warrior on my Instagram. Initially, my Facebook was Monk and Warrior. It's now Warrior Monk, but that was the whole concept of the title, Monk and Warrior, is due to the fact that you are looking at both sides of the coin, right? Because I find that everything by context changes the meaning of everything. Okay, so one of the things that it has led me to is positive psychology, which is not completely positive psychology, as what I mean is that by being just positive, right? Because you're actually, again, you have to look at both sides of the coin, and it's how does positivity actually deal with negativity, right? So in that sense, you're looking at things like acceptance and stuff like that. So as they say, the more you know, the less you know, because it starts to branch out. Like I said, once you start to learn about positivity, you gotta see how it affects negativity, which branches out more learning. And then in order to handle negativity, as an example, one method would be to go through a state of acceptance, which takes you to another branch of learning. And again, it goes further and further and further, and and the amount that you need to learn just keeps expanding. So again, the more you know, the less you know, right? So but I like to take my research down to the core of things. Okay, so whether it's fitness, I like to take it down to the core of things, right? So a lot of times we look at things at surface level. In fact, a lot of times when you're new to a skill, we're learning things at a surface level. Okay, so this is where the notion that when people start getting results, I'm going to use fitness, and I always relate things to fitness just because it's the closest thing that I can relate things to based on knowledge and experience. So when you're looking at fitness and people are starting to get results, and results in the beginning are very fast, so and people are just saying, oh, you just lift and eat clean. So that's surface level, right? So when you say, okay, lift and eat clean, and they hit a plateau, they're like, okay, I need to figure out how to push this. Now you got to break things down into a number of reps. So what's the difference between number of reps? What about the tempo between the reps? And how does the tempo between the reps change the results of your workout? What about the duration of your workouts? How about the amount you lift? How about the increments in which you increase the weight or the distance that you run? In terms of eating, okay, so the ratio of carbohydrates, fats, and protein. What is the results of the variations of carbohydrates, fats, and protein? What about the timing? Right? What about the timing if I take it before, after my workout, or in the morning, or at nighttime? What are the effects then? What about recovery based on the food that you eat? So you see how it's a continual spiral of things that you need to continually learn to do. But when you break it down to the core thing, this is why when I talked about, I have a video on my YouTube channel here, and I talked about diets. When you look at the core of the diets is how you simplify it, and you realize most of the diets work. Because what is the underlying principle of the core of these diets that make the results happen? So, for instance, the ketogenic diet is high in fats. Insulin responses are low. It's excellent for weight loss. What about the Mediterranean diet? Right? It's not a ketogenic diet because there's a lot of carbohydrates in there, but they're very high in olive oil. Curious, right? So you're looking for similarities that create a principle that works across the board for a specific result. Okay, so that's just going into the whole point of this, but I actually wanted to talk about philosophy and psychology. Okay, so in the process of learning, positive psychology, and it's called psychology in general. So back in the earlier years, they started psychology with trying to figure out how to cure symptoms. So if you had, let's say, PTSD, or you had a anxiety issue, the thing that they wanted to do was figure out a way to resolve an issue. So I would relate that to you have a sickness, you have diabetes, or you have cancer, or you have whatever the sickness is, and then you go to the doctor and they're trying to find a cure. But positive psychology came in, which is completely new. So, and there's so much controversy because anything that's new is very controversial. Okay, so positive psychology came in, and it's only been around since this new millennium, right? So like 2000, positive psychology came in, and it's making an impact, but again, there's a lot of controversy to it. Okay, just like the big switch, dietary guidelines used to be carbohydrates. Now dietary guidelines are actually just starting to switch over to fats, which was a controversial topic. Okay, so anyways, positive psychology came in, and now it's actually looking at, and I would relate this to health and fitness. So before it was, you get sick, let's try to fix the issue. Now positive psychology in, and it's like health and fitness. Let's preemptively defend against the issue. So you eat well and you exercise and stay fit so that you can offset the chances and the likelihood of getting sick and getting injured and getting ill and so on. So now positive psychology came in, and they're like, let's create a positive mindset, and let's seek happiness that offsets the psychological issues that could occur. Okay, so anyways, now going back to it and looking at the core principles. Okay, the core principles. What is the core principles of happiness and meaning? The core of all of it is value, meaning, and purpose. Okay, so I actually love the concept of stress inoculation, resiliency, just that discipline. But when you look at the core of what drives all those things, even courage, all these self-help and motivational things, when you look across the board of what everybody is saying, just like across the board of every single diet, you're looking for the principle. And the underlying principle is actually value, meaning, and purpose. Because if you have value and meaning and purpose, you will be more courageous. You will have that stress inoculation. Untrained, you will have it. Okay? So, I like to use an example. So, I'm Vietnamese. My mom's from Vietnam, and she was raised in a war-torn country. She had no choice but to have resiliency, right? And her value, purpose, and reason was her family, right? And I've seen it growing up since I was a kid. Like we were the driving force, right? So she's a single mom, right? So she came here. She, my parents divorced, and she was a single mom, right? She worked 2-3 jobs to sustain, and she works herself to the bone. But the driving force was the family, so us. And I've seen it. Like we came from a bad background. We've actually, people would throw out a mattress, and my mom, she would take it. Like if there was a can on the side of the road, she would pull over and grab that can. And I remember the door of the car. It was wintertime. I had to hold the door closed because the car was a beater, right? And the door wouldn't close. So as we were driving, we had a rope. We tied the door from one door to the other door on the handle so that the doors would stay closed. And then I would hold on to the door, and that's the car that we drove. So, but she fought, right? And eventually the tides changed, and life got better, and she ended up opening her own business and becoming well off. But the point is she had that value, purpose, and meaning. She didn't have to go and train, for resiliency, or she train for, stress inoculation, and that being able to, take a course or read a book on how to develop mental resiliency and hardship. She had no choice, because she had a value, purpose, and meaning and drive to do it. So the whole point is this. The core principle of all this self-development is value, purpose, and meaning. Sorry, this webcam keeps falling over. I gotta fix it. But anyways, if you have value, purpose, and meaning, you can accomplish pretty much anything. Okay, so now there's the because it's so new that it's controversial. It is actually proven that seeking value, purpose, and meaning is counterproductive. Because the more you seek it, the further away you feel that you're getting to it. But I actually believe, through my own experience, that is the natural progression. Because as you seek value, purpose, and meaning, you begin to shed away the things that you didn't need in the first place. Because you begin to see value in the things that are actually valuable. So as you shed your old identity, and this is a whole different topic that I don't want to get into today, but we come into this world, just briefly, just quickly, and we have no identity. So we need to create an identity out of the things that we see, the things that we own, and we begin to possess things, right? We're born into this world, we have nothing, okay? And then when we come into this world, we identify by creating possessions. Okay, so we identify with the toy, right? That's my toy, right? That's mine, and we identify with these things. Okay, and we start creating our identity. That car makes us, our friends make us, our house, our income, our income statement. These things define us as life goes on, right? And then we kind of when we seek value, purpose, and meaning, we shed those things. We realize that the things that don't matter. And that's where you get lost, because you have to be able to shed the things that you identify with. You lose your identity, which makes it very, very difficult. Because then you don't know who you are, and you feel lost, and you feel like, who am I? So the further you go to seek value, purpose, and meaning, the less you know who you are. So it's an interesting concept, but I think it's a natural progression. Once you shed that, then you can build up upon who you are and actually find real value, purpose, and meaning. And when I used, my mother coming from a war-torn country, the things that don't mean anything don't mean anything. So she was able to actually develop a certain set of values. The only thing that she had left to fight for was her family. So she had the ability to shed everything. If somebody was to come here and take away everything that you owned, you would know what was important to you. So is seeking value, purpose, and meaning counterproductive? In a sense, yes, but it's the natural progression. So I do polyphasic sleeping, and in order to adapt to polyphasic sleeping, you have to get to a point where you are so tired, and then your body makes the change. When you're doing a keto diet and you want your body to adapt, you hit a wall of various symptoms. It could be flu-like. It could feel like crap. It could feel like you're dying. And then your body switches over, and then you're keto adapted. Could this principle be the same with seeking value, purpose, and meaning? Or could it be a universal life principle that works across the board with everything? That you have to go through the challenges, difficulties, and what appears to be counterintuitive first in order to attain that thing that you are seeking? I think so. So anyways, in life, I believe the one that is most effective, just like in physics. Now, I'm not a physics teacher, I don't know. But I can use something that everybody understands. If you wanted to move a large boulder, you need a large leverage. Okay? So in order to move a boulder, you can't use a twig. You're gonna have to put a big stick under that, or a log, or to pull that over. And there's videos on YouTube. There's people that can manually flip over a toppled over vehicle with just logs, just by using leverage. Okay? So think about that. In life, if you want to achieve something, you need a greater leverage. Especially if it's big. The bigger it is, the bigger the leverage that is required. So the biggest leverage, the biggest stick that you can use is value, purpose, and meaning. So the greater the thing that you want to achieve, the stronger, the bigger, the greater awareness of value, purpose, and meaning is going to be a bigger stick. So if you want to achieve something, then you need to figure out why. Like as they say, with any why, if you know your why, you can achieve anyhow. So that's pretty much it. I'll leave it as that. Okay, so that's it for today. All right. See you later, guys.